Ooh, holding it up to my ear. I'm really feeling the gong today. Hey kids. Hashtag 78 days. What is it I'm doing here? Oh yeah, 78 days of tarot. Today is day 31, and it is the 9 of Pentacles. And truth be told, whoops, this is not a card that I really like. Yeah. I mean, you know, like every 9, the 9 of Pentacles is symbolizing the sort of approaching of the end of the cycle and really a kind of culmination. I mean, 9 is 3 cubed. It's a perfect number. It's a beautiful number. As I was saying in the discussion, was it of temperance, perhaps? I'm trying to remember. You know, this sort of 3, the trebled 3, the triplet of 3, 3 times 3 times 3, this sort of sense of growth, 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 a growth that is so abundant and so stable in its abundance that you have a kind of perfection in the 9. We see that in each of the suits in a kind of a culmination of the energy of the suit, but not a culmination that it's like the moment before we get to the top of the hill, before we get to the top of the wheel. So one way I've seen this described is to think about the 9s as showing a kind of culmination of the energy of a suit that's really personal, that's really individual, and then in the 10 we move past the individual. If that's the case, then, you know, there's a kind of self-centeredness in the perfection of the 9 that we really do see in the lady in the garden. But, you know, I've been talking about the garden throughout the Pentacles, and I've been talking about the ways in which, you know, at stake with the Pentacles, with the journey, the story, the saga of the Pentacles, is this idea of us regaining paradise, you know, the original garden, and us living in the world in such a way that we are in harmony with nature. So, you know, is this lady's garden the recapturing of Eden? And I think why this card bothers me, and it's not just because today was a shitty day in my life. This was not a nine of Pentacles day for Lisa. But the reason I don't like this card has nothing to do with today, although I especially don't like it today. But it's because, you know, this image of being in luxury and in peace and in harmony and safe and kind of having everything you want and like gain, material gain, it's an image that's enabled by this vision of control. You know, we see this solid bank of the hedgerow that the grapes are growing on. We don't see any entrance or exit to this garden. We see mountains in the background, but we don't see any way where you would get to those mountains. And, you know, in the tarot, the mountains always seem to me to symbolize a kind of striving onward to spiritual growth. But here this woman is walled in. And, you know, part of the sign of her luxury is the fact that she's a falconer. Now, good on her that she's a lady and a falconer. So this image of control is female. But, you know, the falcon wears a hood. It's blinded. That's what enables it to stay put. You know, it learns its master, it learns its mistress, and its mistress can control it by keeping it in the dark. So, you know, to what extent can this be the stopping point? To what extent is the movement of the snail, that slow progress forward, to what extent is that movement impeded precisely by the sense of walls and control? I love, I just got this deck, and I always thought of it as just a novelty deck, and then I saw Simon, you terrible enabler that you are, talk about after tarot, and I think I was in the middle of your live chat and going on Amazon and pricing it out and thinking, oh yeah, I'll get, or maybe it was Kelly's live chat. I can't remember. Who knows? Anyway, I just got this today and immediately flipped to the Pentacles to see if there's something that these cards could show me. So, yeah. So, you know, I really like this. So, the afterthought, this one moment after in the Lo Scarabeo after tarot, shows the gauntlet is off, the hood has been opened, and the falcon is flying free. Now it's going to come back. It's hunting for its mistress. But we see now, we can see that there's something that looks like a gate, and we can see that this lady is tending toward these grapes, that she has a relationship of care to her garden. She's not just in an experience of domination. She's allowing her falcon to hunt. She's nurturing the grapes, and there is a gate that allows entrance and exit to this otherwise walled garden. So this to me seems to open up the imagery of the Rider-Waite-Smith to this more harmonious relationship with nature. But the deck that I focused on for today, or my kind of illustration deck, is not After Tarot, but is instead the Golden Thread Tarot. And why am I not remembering the artist's name? Because I'm a loser. Okay. Oh, and of course her name isn't on the box. Is that right? Oh, yes it is. Sorry, Tina Gong. This is a deck I haven't worked with extensively, and but I turn to it every now and then I'm always impressed at that each time I use it, I love it more. I have the plastic version, and it's just, first of all, it's really, I mean, working with these cards because of that solid plastic core, they're beautiful, right? These are not edged, this is just all plastic, and the gold thread is gorgeous, and I think this is a really smart deck. You know, I love decks that go for the kind of minimalism, trying to figure out what are the least amount of elements necessary. So like, look at this Five of Pentacles. The open hands pointed toward the church. And then the echo in the Six of Pentacles, the open hands receiving, right? The dynamic has been inverted. So giving, receiving, that very clear relationship between haves and have-nots. We'll come back to this one in a second. I love that many of these cards do not have human figures in them. They're really just trying to go to the symbolic elements. Yeah, it's, and the app for this deck, which is free, is just, it's a really wonderful app. And what I especially love, I think, about what Tina Gong's doing here is she writes in the box itself, she writes, "Boundless is the world within and without, and great are the paths that we wander. A single golden thread lays before you, weaving mirrors and lighting your way into the dark. Start your journey, download the app, goldenthread.com." So what's kind of, I think, wonderful about her is the way in which, and I think the echo of kind of circuitry that you see in the golden thread, the way in which she's seen the relationship between the material deck and the virtual world of iPhones and apps. Her decks are a way into her computer programs, and her computer programs, her apps, are a way into her decks. Anyway, so the Nine of Pentacles, like she just points it out. It's like, it is a walled garden. Here's the gate. So pointing to the ways in which the garden, in order to be spiritually fulfilling, the gardens that we build, the ways we try to create abundance for ourselves by walling ourselves in and protecting ourselves and controlling and dominating the world around us to produce what will nurture and nourish us, there has to be a gate. There has to be ingress and egress. There has to be giving and receiving, or we will not ultimately be fulfilled. So the satisfactions of the nine, right, need to open up into the 10, and in opening up into the 10, we have to move away from safety, away from a completely bounded world where we keep some things in the dark in order to protect what we think is most sacred or most valued. Yeah. There's got to be a gate, and the gate has got to swing both open and shut. Okay, I think that's what I've got. I have a feeling this was a grumpy video, but maybe I'm just grumpy. Anyway, it's no biggie. It's just, you know, it's just work stuff. And it's hard to stay too grumpy when you get to play with the 78. Okay, love you guys. As always, thank you so much for watching.